Welcome to Season 3 of the Take the Leap podcast. We want to thank you for being a part of this journey with us.
Whether you're just starting to tune in or you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you can expect to hear from entrepreneurs in all stages of their journey, how they got to where they are, and all the mistakes and victories they've had along the way.
We're excited to share new guests and have some returning folks from our first 2 seasons. Thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Take the Leap podcast. We're really excited to have returning guest Vicki Semanie with us again. Vicki, how are you this lovely Friday afternoon?
I'm very well. We finally are warming up a little bit here on the East Coast, so that's very nice.
That's good.
Oh, that's lovely. My sister's in New York, and I know they, the East Coast, all the East Coasters, I feel like, have been going through it.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Well, we're so excited to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so when we have people come back, and look at me, I'm losing my ring right there. We have them just give like a life and business update. So where are things now? Any new exciting developments since we talked to you last time? Which I should do this better, where we look up. But we're guesstimating that it's been about a year since we talked to everybody, give or take. Right. So yeah, what's new in your world?
So, well, we had a new addition to the family, a little boxer.
Oh, fun.
Oh.
So from a personal perspective, we've had her for about 7 months. And so I'm a proud boxer mommy. Now, we had one previously and she passed away.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry.
yeah. But I've been doing a lot of training and, I don't know if you both work from home, but I do. And it gets lonely.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
So it's nice to have someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely
pets are great.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Tori.
I was just say pets are the best coworkers.
They are. They are.
Toddlers not so much, but
well, I don't have one of those. So.
Yeah. That's what I normally have to deal with. So
that's like the big, kind of the life disrupting thing is having a puppy. But
oh my goodness.
But no, 2025 was very good from a personal perspective, and starting 2026 has been good so far.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think when we last spoke, you're right. I was probably into my second year of the business, and so this marks my third year.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I got into some things last year that I didn't expect to get involved in. And Ashlyn, you had kind of mentioned that was a theme with some of your guests. Right. And so I can talk a little bit about that. And then I want to talk a little bit towards the end about kind of my vision for this year, especially as it relates to like how I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what new fun thing did you get into last year?
So, I think that I started off as a life coach, kind of pivoted to business coach. I actually did some business consulting last year, which I didn't necessarily expect to do, but was very well suited to do. And it was a referral, so that was great. So it was someone who knew my work and knew my background. So I did that. I branched out a little bit more with speaking engagements.
Oh, nice.
And I specifically did like a 90-minute group coaching on the power of purpose.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I first did it as part of a Women Loving Life Summit series that was online. That was about 30 minutes. And then I did it to a larger group of women, and it was journaling and coaching and kind of a combination. So that was different and fun. I really have been writing like I always have been. So I have the weekly blog, which I think you're aware of. And not a lot has changed there other than I just continue every week to do the blog, which I love to do. mean, that's a great outlet for me.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of those are some of the different things I've been doing other than my regular one-on-one business coaching.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's so awesome. I do still get your weekly blogs as email newsletters, which is great. And so go you on the consistency aspect because I think a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
amazing.
times, for as business owners, we're not busy, so we're consistent, and then we get busy, so we're not consistent, and then you kind of go on that like wave. So that's great that you
Yes.
have something that you're doing that is kind of keeping that level. And I would love to know more, like what were some of the things that you discovered in the speaking and the presentation
Yeah.
process, especially with the power of purpose as well.
Right. So, first of all, it's a way to engage with an audience in a different way than the blog or in
Mhm.
networking. And so that's the primary reason for me to do that. Um, I would say a lot of people, and this was all women because it was a women's networking group,
Hmm.
really aren't aligned as it relates to what they feel their purpose is and what they actually do from a day-to-day perspective. And and that can kind of cause an aha moment for them to
Mhm.
say, I've got this job and it's not in any way connected to what I really feel like my purpose is.
Yeah.
And that's so then what do? Right? You either find an outlet for the purpose outside of the work, because the work may
Mhm.
still be fulfilling,
Yeah.
Hmm.
um, or in some cases, you need to think differently about how
Hmm.
you work. Um, the interesting thing in the program is that I actually kind of walk them through with their eyes closed if they're comfortable with that. The whole concept of I'm waking up in the morning. This is the first thing I think. This is what I hear. This is what I see. And really walking them through a imaginative process of what would bring them joy in their day. And that kind of leads to an opening up of the idea of what purpose could be. So,
I love that. That's really cool. That's really beautiful. And I love from like where you started to like what you're doing now, like, it kind of like evolved with you and as
yeah.
like things happen. And I feel like we talk about this a lot with a lot of different guests, is that a lot of the times you start a business and it's not exactly the way it was when you first started it. And I think that's a good thing, right? Like, I
Hmm.
think as people, we evolve and our wants and needs and desires evolve. And so we have to kind of go along with that. And I think it's a very shocking thing for a lot of people when they get into entrepreneurship of, oh, this is way different than I thought I was going to, I'm doing way different things
Yes,
now.
absolutely. And, no different in some ways than any new business starting out, whether it's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur starting a business or, a company, a C corporation.
Right.
Hmm.
You pivot when things need to change.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
How many products are brought to market that fail that then cause a company to pivot and do something different? And I
That's a
think I
great
might have
point.
spoken about this last time we talked, was the concept I found early in my journey with this business of feeling like I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would
Mhm.
stick.
Yeah.
And there is still a little bit of an element of that, but less so for me. I think I know a little bit
Yeah.
more where I need to go and what I'm
Hmm.
really good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like that's almost like you almost have to go through that process too, as an entrepreneurship to really figure it out.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think, well, right, you're going to have failure
Yeah.
Hmm.
and you can't learn without it. So,
Yeah.
Right. And I think
That,
that's really interesting too, is that you're kind of like learning and evolving through this, but it didn't, even though things are shifting and changing, one, you're not being scared to go and try a
yeah.
different direction. And I think the other thing is you didn't, not knowing everything did not stop you from starting the business, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because I think some folks, they think that they just need to know how to do everything, or there's like giving themselves permission to do a thing. There's always, that voice in the back of the head of like, oh, I could never do that, or,
Yeah.
this is what I'm stuck in, or even, how you said with the power of purpose, that either you need to like change and go a totally different direction, or you need to, you have your side outlet. But I think a lot of times people get stuck in that really rigid mindset of, this is the only thing I can do and there's no other opportunities for me. And I definitely challenge folks to think outside the box and try something,
Yeah.
Right. In entrepreneurship, you have to be willing to take risk.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You can, as you're saying, explaining, you can perfect, 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 and never do anything. Like you have to take
Nope.
action.
Yeah.
So nothing is ever going to be perfect where you want it. At some point, you just have to do it, and right, you just have to take the leap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I think, yeah, like just kind of to reiterate everything you just said, like feel like so many people are afraid of it, like needs to be perfect, but also so many people are afraid of failing. And I think embracing failure,
mhm.
because that's how you learn, is just the best way to go.
Yep,
Mhm.
I agree.
Because it's
Another,
nice.
I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't
Oh,
mean to
that's
interrupt you.
okay.
I don't know if I had this credential when I last spoke with you or not, but I'm also certified emotional intelligence coach.
Oh,
I love that.
nice.
Yeah, and I did that first because I thought it would help my coaching business in terms of actually coaching the people, and it has done that. But what it's also done, and this is another thing that I kind of branched out, um, area I branched into last year, was leadership development.
Mhm.
So through some networking that I've been doing, I connected with a woman who owns a multi-site psychology therapy practice. She has like 40 therapists in her
Oh,
company.
wow. That's a
And
lot.
yes, she was developing an LDP program for her direct reports and shared the syllabus with me. And I said, okay, I can definitely do emotional intelligence. And then I connected with another woman from a networking group who's an HR strategist, and she can do DISC and driving forces, if you're
Mhm.
familiar with those. Okay. So
Mhm.
we put together this 3 series workshop, and it included the assessments that were associated and then coaching. And actually, I'm coaching the leaders all the way through their 9 months
Oh, wow.
Nice.
of, yeah. But so we've got this great product, if you want to call it that, for small business where you don't have an organizational development department. And
Mhm.
the cost is it's a good price point.
Yeah.
And then from that, I've added a fourth component called courageous conversations. So it's
Mm.
all about knowing yourself, knowing your emotional intelligence, knowing how you show up at work. What are the things that motivate you? And then how to communicate effectively that really can elevate leadership. So that's another big area that I branched out in the last of 2025.
I'm really curious because like I have the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and
Yep,
I know the four category, the four strategies and
yep.
whatnot. But where do you find that folks struggle the most out of
Mm.
those four?
So I maybe you might have a different like version of emotional intelligence than I do
Mhm.
because there are multiple versions. But what I find is people building confidence. So people that lack confidence, and this isn't necessarily business owners, but other leaders that I've worked with that don't own their own business,
Mhm.
they are low on confidence, and growing the confidence really takes a lot of effort. And it's often accompanied with negative self-talk.
Mm, mhm.
Okay, so really practicing on what you do when you have negative self-talk and how do you grow your confidence through concrete actions. I think that's a big area. Um, I would say for some people, maybe impulse control, especially if
Mm.
they're earlier in their career, the
Yeah.
ability to not send that email. Um, not fire off that awful email at midnight or whatever that the next day you wish you hadn't sent, that sort of thing, or posting something in social media that you really shouldn't have.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes
so
sense.
yeah, I don't know if that helps
That
explain.
does help. Yeah. I know that the one that I see people struggle with is self-awareness
Ooh,
and
yeah,
also the awareness of like the needs of others, that they can't
yeah,
get that sense of like you shouldn't talk to that person like that because they're literally
Yes,
going to have a meltdown. They're either going to have a meltdown or they're going to go run to the bathroom and cry. Like,
yes.
and they just
So
don't pick up on that, like that this is not a conversation to have right now with that person. So
yeah,
yeah,
so low empathy. They are not
yeah,
empathetic.
you're not apathetic
And
for sure.
then self-awareness, obviously, not understanding, not being in tune to their own emotions. And
Hmm.
so the inability to regulate or to express emotion because you're not aware of them. So,
Hmm.
yep,
Hmm.
I agree.
that's great. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to read this now. I don't have that book, but I've heard of it.
I was gonna
I'm
say
gonna have to read it.
I'll try to remember that if you don't get it,
When I see you
I'll
next time.
bring my copy to you as well. Um,
It's been like one of those that are like on all the lists, and I'm like, oh, I need to check that out.
mhm.
I think the best thing though is to have the assessment done
Okay.
Yes, that is a
so that you
good
know your own how you score.
things. Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of it is somewhat intuitive. You would
Okay.
know, like if you don't have a lot of confidence, you probably know, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't take long. I think it's 156 questions.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
And
So
then
I'm
if you
assuming
just
it's
how?
similar to like a strengths finder or something,
kind
right?
of,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
same
Okay.
sort of idea. So if
Perfect.
you decide you want to do it, let me know because
Okay.
I can administer the test.
Oh
Oh,
yay.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll connect with you after this because yeah,
sounds good.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Now I'm
Yeah, that's
wondering if I've
awesome.
taken it or not.
Well, you can take it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely I'll administer the test for you and we'll do a coaching
Wonderful.
call to,
That'd be
I
and
great.
would love
pro
that.
bono, of course,
I would
to
love
get
that.
you. Yeah, let's
Oh,
do
Yeah.
that
that.
would be
That'll be
amazing.
fun.
Yes.
Be really
Thank
fun.
you. Oh, I'm really excited now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love stuff like that. I feel like it's just so helpful giving people like tools that they can use, even
Mhm.
if it's all common sense things and you're hearing things that you're like, oh yes, of course that's how I align. Of course that's how I respond. That makes sense. It's just having that toolkit and the words to be able to process that. I think
Yep.
is just so helpful. And I think we've said this before on the podcast, but being an entrepreneur is the greatest act of like self development that you can do. And like the more you lean into that and read and learn how to have more tools in your toolkit to be a better leader and to be a better entrepreneur, I think it's just so helpful.
I agree. Definitely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Growing a thick skin is like the most important thing, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Learning to deal with rejection.
Yes. Yes. We had someone on the podcast recently who I think in one of his first interviews with us, he told us that um, getting a rejection from a client sometimes hurts worse than a breakup from like a relationship. I absolutely agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Especially in the early days. Yeah, it's just, like it's so tempting to like get so excited and hopeful about an opportunity and then it doesn't
Hmm.
work out for whatever reason and then you're like, oh no, what did I do wrong? And sometimes
Right.
there is nothing that you
Yeah.
did wrong,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Especially if they don't give you a like, sometimes
Yeah.
people are just like, because no can be a complete sentence,
Right. Yeah.
and so
Yes.
it might not have
Mhm.
anything to do with you. It might have something to do with that's usually what I say. It wasn't the right time. It has nothing to do
Wasn't the right fit.
with
Yeah.
me. Like they made their choice, and that's what I think is really important, just about like being human in general, is that we do have a lot of agency and a lot of choice in a lot of different
Yeah.
ways to shape our lives. And there are some things that make it easier. Like, I'm not going to lie, having more money sometimes
Ugh,
will
for
make things a lot
sure.
easier for some
Sure.
folks than others. But there are even small things like, oh, who was it who said recently, like, you can always choose kindness. Like,
That's
Yes.
right.
there are small things that we all have, control over. And that could be one of them, is just
Hmm.
choosing kindness over
Choosing
being a
kindness.
jerk.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. I love that so much. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. Choose
I have
kindness today.
choose kindness today.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need reminders of that in my personal life too. So, just
Well, it's so funny you talk about the negative self-talk thing, because I've told Tori this before. Like, anytime I start having that in my head, I'm like, would you say this out loud to Tori? No, you would
right.
never
That's
say
so
that to
smart.
her. So,
Yeah,
like, why do you say that to yourself? And that's just
exactly.
another way to put that
Mhm.
in your head.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. That is like the first thing you should remind yourself of,
Mhm.
right? And then say something really positive,
yeah,
like replace the,
Mhm.
yeah,
the negative
Yeah.
with the positive. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
the affirmations, the wins, and yeah, and I do like a lot of journaling too, because that just
Yeah.
gets it
Hmm.
out, so you're not just swimming in in
That's
brain
right.
gook.
Yeah. It is a hard habit to break if you've grown up that way, but like it's one of the best things you can do
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
yourself
I
and for your
agree.
business.
It's very limiting otherwise.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, limiting beliefs hold us back.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
So you had said early on too that you had a new vision for
I do.
the work. So
Yes.
yeah, I would love to hear your 2026
Sure.
vision.
So, as an entrepreneur, I feel like I've tried to control everything. Like, you know, um, and that all my steps and actions, they might not all lead to something, but they're leading me somewhere, which I believe they are. But so my mantra this year is trust first and always. So no matter what you're trusting, like you need to trust. So you need to trust that what you're doing will lead you, it's a path of success. You
Yeah.
need to listen for direction. And this, I'm looking at my little vision board over here. Yep, I actually did a Canva vision board. Last
I
year was the
love
first time, and this
it.
is the second time. Observe your surroundings, right? So, what's going on around you? Um, is there something um, that you should be listening to that will lead you down a different path in
Yeah.
in whatever work it is you're doing? Um, Stop controlling. Like, I think, you know, that's a big thing for me. Watch for signs. So,
Mm.
what are the signs? And follow the path. So, that's kind of what I'm working in. And for me, I'm a very faithful person. So, that's inspired by God, which might
Mhm.
not be for everyone, but stop, kind of give it up a little bit and trust that I will do the right things at the right time.
Mhm.
And, it's funny, the day I finished that, I got an email in my inbox that this kind person that I knew from a networking group, she had a business entrepreneur mastermind group or something, and her um, speaker had just canceled. And she asked me, she's like, it's next Friday, and the topic was productivity and time management. Can you do it? And I'm like, yeah. So
That's
I
wonderful.
didn't like,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say I'm an expert on productivity and time management. I'm very good at it, and I had done a lot of research because I have to help my clients sometimes with those things.
Mhm.
So it came together very quickly. Then I got a text from a colleague I used to work with, and I was hired to help with some interviewing, preparing somebody for interviewing. Again, like if you go to my website, it doesn't say Vicki Semanie is a productivity expert or she helps people prepare for interviews. And I didn't think but that's where the path took me. And it's just like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, both of which I was very skilled and able to do. So
Mhm.
um, it's amazing how when you have a little bit of a mindset shift, things
Mhm.
can happen that you wouldn't have expected to have happen.
Yeah. Well, going back to your theme of trust, they reached out to you because they trust you. And
Yeah.
Yes.
they would have known that if you definitely were like, I know nothing about productivity, and
Yeah,
like, that they
Right.
would know you would have declined it and probably tried to connect them with somebody who was a better
absolutely.
fit. And so yeah.
Yeah, if they asked me to come in and present on some veterinary practice, I wouldn't have done it. But you're
Mhm.
correct. I mean, they knew me enough that I was capable of doing what it was that they wanted to have done.
Yeah.
So,
Well done. That's
I love
awesome.
that. That's amazing.
yeah, it's it's now I just need to keep it going.
Yeah.
Like I feel like so that was a January thing and an early February thing that were unexpected. So now I've got a March has to happen, like whatever the March
Yeah.
thing is.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe I did two networking events, one this morning and one last Friday, and I'm in this other kind of smaller group
Mhm.
that I'm networking with. I'm convinced something will come from one of those.
One of
So,
those. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
That's wonderful. Sometimes it's just about putting yourself out there in the right spaces and, like you said, trusting that it'll
Mhm.
work out. I might adopt your word of the year.
Okay, good,
I really like that.
good. I
Mhm.
I know you use Canva, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's kind of fun to visualize it,
Hmm.
which I'm sure you've
I
both
love
done with
that.
vision boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's a really great idea.
Mhm.
And I feel like the new year's really starting now.
Yeah.
It feels different now. Things feel just energetically feel different.
I think so. It's always slow for me in January because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm emotionally hungover from the holiday,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Fair.
there's stuff you need to get done like
Mhm.
immediately after the first of the year, and so I'm a little slow in that. Uh, but
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you. And it's starting to get a little bit warmer, so that also helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ready for spring.
Hmm.
Yeah, literally the wintering, right? Because everything kind of is dormant and like,
Yeah.
going through that. And then spring is when the new blossoms and the seeds get
That's right.
planted. And yeah,
Yep.
so I mean, I think that's very true in life and what we see around us, but also in business. Cause like it's great that you've done the networking bit. And I think that that's what people that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make when they start networking is they'll go to like one or two events and they'll be like, oh, I got nothing. And I'm like, it's about you consistently showing up and
Right.
becoming known, as that person. Like I went to a women's networking thing earlier this morning, and it's a they call it a wisdom circle, but everybody goes around, introduces their business, and then they get to put a question on the table. They get 30 seconds to like give some background, ask their question, and then everybody in the room popcorns their answers in
Oh,
in that
that's
the remaining 4 minutes. It's really helpful, and so you can get advice on something. Somebody was starting a brand new business doing holistic pet wellness, and so she's just like, I don't even know who I would go to be referral partners or get out there. And so everybody in the room is like vets and pet
mhm.
groomers and all of these different things that she didn't think about. And so we were like, okay, now you have your long list of people now that you
Right.
need to go contact. But going from zero of like I have no idea what to do to kind of community sourcing the room, I think is always
Hmm.
always great. And even if I don't need anything in that space, I always just like to show up to be able to give back and pour into
Yes.
folks as well. So yeah.
Sometimes, so last Friday here, I was going to a networking event and it was literally raining cats and dogs, and I really just wanted to stay in bed. Like, because I had to get up, it was an hour drive.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah,
brutal.
I live pretty far out. But I was like, in my head, I'm like, I need to go to this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't necessarily there, I'm going to close a big deal. It wasn't
Mhm.
that. It was just like, I need to go and I don't know why. So there's someone there I need to meet. So I agree with you. Consistency is important
Mhm.
because in any of our businesses, really, unless you're producing a widget, it's a personal service
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people need to know you. They're not. going to fork over the money to you if they don't have some personal
Right.
relationship.
Yeah,
So
it's the know, like, and trust factor, especially, you being in the coaching industry. I mean, everybody,
exactly.
has a one-on-one conversation and thing with you. So like that, even that visibility is really important because it's not like they're getting a product or they're getting an app or a
Right.
Right.
widget that they're going to be interacting with. They're going to interact with you. And yeah, some business owners don't realize that when they're like the main person is like you have to have a way that people can get to know you because especially if you're selling something for a large sum of money,
Right.
people are not just
Yeah.
writing checks like,
Right.
yes, you can have my, $5,000. That's great.
Right.
Like, please
Exactly.
introduce me to those people. I would like to know those people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
And I think for any small business to pay a coach or to pay someone for a service, like regardless of how much money it costs them, I think every resource is very valuable to them,
That's
right?
right.
And it's not like most big corporations who can fork out a lot of money for the different things that they need and make sure they build it into their budget, every year.
Right.
It's if a small business is looking for help, chances are they are taking it from something else that they might
That's
Mhm.
need.
right.
And so
That's
I
right.
do I do think it is really important. That relationship aspect is just so important.
Yep. I agree.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Have
Yeah.
there been any really big aha moments for you in now being in or entering into year
Yeah.
3 of the business?
Yeah. I was thinking about this, not so much aha moments, but I don't know if I referenced this last time we talked, but when I first started my business, I was working with a business attorney to help me set up organization stuff. And she said to me, starting a business is like growing ivy.
Mm.
When you plant it, it sleeps. That's the first year. The second year it creeps, and the third year it leaps. Now I'm thinking my ivy might be a 4-year leaper.
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, it's still slow, and I'm fortunate because I had the financial wherewithal to do this, and I only wanted to be part time to begin with, so
Yeah.
that's good. Um, hindsight 2020, if I didn't have the financial wherewithal, I would need to do something else too.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that, so I would say if you're starting your own business, something like probably almost any kind of business, but especially something like coaching, if you can continue to work, even if it's part time, and grow the business, I think that's a wise way to do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in my experience, it just takes a while for
Mhm.
for you to get that business going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a gal in the wisdom circle today that's fully just doing it on the side while she has a full-time job, and she's just like, so when do you decide to leave the full-time job? And it's like, not until this is going at a level that you can meet your
Yeah.
needs. And
That's right.
I pulled her on the side because I lucked out that when I started my business, it's around 7 months in, I switched jobs and I was making 20,000 more a year at the new place. But instead of, like a lot of times when we get a raise, we like, just start increasing our
Right.
lifestyle. I just started quietly
Yes.
paying more for my car and like shuffling money
Yeah.
away just so that when it did come to that point of fully taking the leap into my business, it would be more possible. And I definitely like chatted with all my clients because I was making about the same amount in my business as I was making full time. But as we all know, you don't get to just pay yourself out of that top line
That's
revenue.
right.
Like
Right.
there's business expenses. And so
Right.
I went to a lot of my clients and I was like, if I do this, do you have more work for me that will make this, reasonable? And all of them were very excited and very supportive. And it's been just such a blessing to have that in my
Yeah.
business
It's
as well.
excellent.
So yeah.
It goes to the point that it takes planning. You
Hmm.
Yeah.
really need, right. And what is the business statistic that new businesses fail in
At
what,
one
3 years?
year. I was going to
Yeah.
say
One
1 year,
year.
it's one, and then the next kind of milestone is five, and
5.
then, then
Right.
up from there. But I think it's like, I think the last time I looked at it, it's like 80% fail by year one. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty.
And it makes sense. I think it's not an easy path by any means for most people.
Mhm.
And I think if anyone goes into it with this illusion of, oh, it's going to be so nice, I can do whatever I want during the day and just take calls when I want, or just,
Right.
yeah, and then it's definitely going to be different. Not saying that everybody goes in with that expectation, but if you go in to it thinking one way and don't learn how to adapt and evolve as things come, yeah, I can definitely see why that happens.
Mhm.
Yes. And it's just so hard. It's
It
like
is.
eventually it might just be easier to go back to what you were doing before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Or
boy,
like you
that's
said, something part-time, and it doesn't necessarily, like, I think some people forget it doesn't necessarily need to be similar to what you're doing in your business. It
right.
could be something completely
Right.
different. You could drive Lyft
Exactly.
and Uber,
Yeah.
do a
Right.
delivery service, work at the post office. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of really
Yeah.
simple ways to have if you need it, a
Yeah.
Right.
part-time job and still be able to claim do your business and grow
Hmm.
it on the side. So yeah.
Yeah, that's another good point. And there's so many ways to do it nowadays. And if it's a service-based business, the startup costs aren't that
Right.
big. Granted,
Exactly.
if you have like an in-person brick and mortar
Right.
or, something like that, that's a different, that's a whole different level of risk for
Mhm.
sure. But yeah, it's never been easy as it is today to start a business, but it's also probably never been as hard to keep it open either.
Yeah, I would say, well, right. I mean, there's been uh, financial uncertainty for a lot of
Yeah,
people. And
Mhm.
so I think that's definitely in the back of people's minds as it
for
relates
sure.
to spending money on certain things.
Mhm.
So,
For sure. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. That's fair.
Well, that was really anybody out there listening that wants to start a business might be like, I'm not taking that leap.
I think for me, I think it's a personality type, right? Of like for me, what you had just said, like it would definitely be easier to just go back and work for someone else. And while I do agree it would be easier at the same time, like I know that my body would not allow that. I was so much more stressed out
Mm,
Mhm.
working for someone else. I wasn't able to sleep. I
yeah.
was I was having some medical issues because of stress working for
Hmm.
someone else. And now that I'm in this role, like, yes, I get stressed about money sometimes. Yes, I like things fluctuate or, I have stressful days,
Hmm.
but I'm not in bed awake anymore stressing over work. I'm not, having to go to the doctor because I'm having a stress related issue
Right.
anymore. Like it's,
Exactly.
so I think it's all about perspective and just I think some people are really really this is the life they want, and if you don't want it, that's okay too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. But entrepreneurship gives you so much flexibility and
It does.
freedom,
Yeah.
like being able to go do things that you want to enjoy. I mean, provided you have to design it that way.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, if you do have like a brick and mortar store where you're the only person selling whatever it is,
Hmm.
you will have to
Probably
be
aren't going to close
there.
up shop for a
Yeah.
long lunch every day.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But you
Yeah.
could have enjoyable days, or like I know, Tori and I have the podcasts on Fridays, and then I try to intentionally not have client meetings on Mondays so that I can have like, more work and even like admin time,
Yeah.
like
Right.
invoices have to go out and all these
Yeah.
different things. Like, you wear every single hat when you're
Hmm.
starting out as an entrepreneur, and then you slowly start to, depending on where you want to go with it. I think that's another thing too, is that like we also often get fed like, oh, you're supposed to grow and scale and get this big and get to 1 million, and it's just like, if you're comfortable where you're at, like,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
don't you also don't need to have this exponential growth for the sake of exponential growth,
Right.
Right.
thing. And yeah. Yeah.
You get to build what you want, and that's the point.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. And exponential growth comes with exponential problems.
Yeah.
True.
Or problems is probably the wrong word, challenges, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
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 I've heard a lot of business owners, yeah, they're like, "Oh god, once I got above, you know, a million," because you end up with things like payroll
Right.
and all the, you know, responsibility. There's all the legal ramifications of having
Mhm.
folks. Like I actually I was getting like just a night like I just wanted a new quote for business insurance, and you know the person was like, oh well, you know, where's the policy for your 1099 person? And I was like, I'm not going to ask her for that. Like if something happens, like I want it to hit my insurance. I don't, you know, like I don't want it to hit hers. And then my it just in the insurance game, you know, that's all insurance companies care about, right? Is
Right.
that risk
Who's
management. And I
good?
was like,
Yeah.
I just said, never mind. I'm just going to keep what I have. I don't need, you know, I don't need to check
Yeah.
another quote if you're going to make me do all this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
So you have a low threshold for bureaucratic administrative stuff.
Yeah.
I really,
That's fair.
really do. I
Because
really
that's a pretty low threshold, I have to tell you.
do.
I love that.
I
That's a
was
good
going
way
to
to put
use a different word, but yeah.
it. That also maybe starts with a B.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. In my head.
Yes. That's what I was thinking too. So
Yeah,
I didn't even have to say it.
yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
But what I love is that you know that
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and you're okay with it. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
Nope. Nope.
Why bother? Yeah.
Why bother? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anything else you wanted to make sure we shared today, Vicki, before we wrap up with our final question for you?
I don't think so. I would just say keep at it.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah.
You want to ask the last one, Tori?
Sure. We are asking all of our guests the same question at the end of the episode. And it is, what is a piece of media content that you're obsessed with right now? So that could be a TV show, a podcast, a book,
Oh,
anything.
okay. Well, it's The Pit.
I've been hearing
Yes.
about it. Ashlyn's been you've been telling me to watch
Uh-huh.
this.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
you've got to watch it. So
Okay.
you guys are too young to have known the original Noah Wiley
Oh
show,
no,
ER.
ER. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, so this is funny. My husband and I play pickleball on Thursdays, and it goes from 7 to 9, but the
Mhm.
pit starts at 9. And so we always tell everybody we're leaving at 8:30.
Because we gotta
And
get
my
home. Yeah.
We got to go watch.
and my daughter's like, Mom, you know it, you can stream it. I'm like, Leah, I'm old school. It's on at 9. I want to be
I gotta
sitting on the
watch it.
couch at 9. So that's the show that I'm obsessed with. And if
That's
you don't
amazing.
watch it, you need to watch it. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
several people tell me recently that I need to watch that show. So
Yeah.
I'm just taking this as a sign.
Yeah.
Prepare like
This is your
it's your
sign.
sign.
I'm taking it.
Yeah. I think the first season is 12. It might be 12 episodes because
Yeah, because
every
it's an
episode is an
hour
hour of
Okay.
the medical thing
of the
or
shift.
of the shift. Yeah. It was very good. I think we watched like 10 episodes and then I was like, it's 2 a.m. I have to go to bed. And then
Oh,
we watched the last two, but my husband had watched it while I was away traveling. And when I came back, he was like, we need to watch this. I didn't watch the last two so that we could watch the last two
oh, that's
together.
good. Yeah,
And we watch it
I
every week.
highly recommend.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That's definitely
there you
moving
go.
up my list.
Mhm.
Good.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much again,
Thank
Vicki,
you.
for being
Thank
on with
you.
us. We will
It's a
have
pleasure.
all the links in the show notes about Vicki in this episode, and we will see you next time on another
Sounds
episode
good.
of Take the Leap. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Take the Leap podcast. Check out our show notes to connect with us and our guests. If you have questions about the episode or ideas for future topics, send us a direct message on Instagram or email us at aloha@taketheleap-today.com. If you're interested in being a guest, fill out the guest interest form on our website.
If you're a new entrepreneur who is looking for a roadmap to move your business idea forward, check out the Take the Leap course on our website, taketheleap-today.com. Members who join the course also have an opportunity to join us in bi-weekly co-working and group coaching calls to build momentum and work on your business.
And if you'd like a flavor of what we offer, sign up for our free webinar with the 9 essential steps you need to launch your business with clarity and confidence. See you next time.